Hey everybody, so today we're going to talk about trying to get your first clients for buying cold. So, to start this off, what happened was I got a comment from Han Alex Simba and he says, will you help me get customers for gold? And I thought, yeah, I will help you get customers for gold because, we're in this together. So, let's go back to when I first started. So when I first started, there was a consignment shop. It was a furniture consignment, and the people there didn't really do gold stuff or silver. They just sent people somewhere else. My dad had been talking to the owner a little bit, and was thinking of setting up to do gold there. But instead of him setting up, he called me. He's like, hey, there's this opportunity. You want to try it? And I was like, yeah, I'm in. And then my money was on the line, and it was exciting. So I went in that shop. They helped me put up some advertising outside, which took a while to get started, to work. It was like a couple of weeks before I got my first client. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. I sat in there day after day waiting for the first client. And eventually, I put a Google listing up. Now, this is great because how this works is basically you go to Google, you say, hey, I have a business here in this location. It can be your house, or it can be, some commercial place wherever you are, or wherever you're going to be regularly, ideally. And what you do is you put your hours and you put your phone number. Now that's double-edged sword because you'll get calls from people trying to get your money, and you'll get calls from people that are gonna sell you some jewelry, which is where you can make some money. So you have to filter out random robocalls and stuff. So that's one of the costs of doing it that way, but you get calls. Google sends you calls because people are searching where to sell gold. Who comes up? Well, pawn shop, refinery, whatever your business name. You put your business name there, and they'll be like, you know what? Let's try that guy. Now, if you treat people really good, like I did, you can get good reviews. And if you get good reviews, a lot of times I have people telling me, they're like, hey, I read your reviews. They're great. Maybe you can help us. And so I have gotten a lot of business because I treated people fairly and they gave me good reviews. Be honest with people, be clear, be fair. You might not always get as much business, but then you'll get better quality clients later. So that's how I see it. Some people see it the other way. They're like, I'm going to try to, get as much as I can, but teach their own. They burn bridges. You can get return customers the other way. Anyway, so that having been said, get reviews. Now, Google's not the only place. Oh, let's finish with Google first, though. So, Google will, once you set up your place, they'll send you a card in the mail. It's got a little code on it. Take that code, you take it back to Google, you put it in their code machine. They're just one big, really huge code machine anyway. But anyway, you put it in their little code machine. It says, oh, you're verified now. Ta-da! Woo! And you get a Google listing. And that's awesome. Now, once you have a Google listing, you want to put up pictures of gold or stuff or yourself, and you want to fill out as much of the information so that their algorithms have something to use. For Google Images, they like to have free stuff. Give them some free stuff, and they'll give you some free calls. It's a fair trade, frankly. It's pretty cool. So, that's one of my best tips, actually. So once you get that set up, there are a few other places you can go. Like, for example, you can go to Yelp. You can list on Yelp. Okay, so you can set up multiple of these accounts on multiple places. Okay, don't give that away, naughty. Okay, you can also go to Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages is another one. So there's I saw a list once, and there's 10 of these that are highly used, and another 50 that are unknown. So there's plenty of places to list online. And fortunately, you don't need a web page for any of this. You can have one, you can build one, but you don't need to have it. So there's that. Alright, so that should get you some phone calls and get you some of your first customers. Usually what I do is I put hours, but then when I should be available, when people can call me, and then I set up appointments with people, because that's what usually I have time to do. I did it full time for 3 years and found that, at least in my area of about 100,000 people in the region, it was just barely enough to scrape by. So instead of sitting in a place all the time, I just wait for the calls now. And I work full time, so sometimes I miss the calls. So there's kind of like, if you can have a job that lets you also take phone calls, that's perfect. I haven't exactly found that life balance yet, but I'm searching for it, because I want to be able to take the calls, but I also need to have, like, sort of a full-time income on, as I go. Unless YouTube makes me independently wealthy or something, and then maybe I can take the calls all the time. So we'll see how that goes. But to say the least, that's essentially what you gotta do. You gotta set up some advertising somewhere. Now there's some other ways to advertise. I've discussed them in some other videos. I'll link that at the end of this, because I kind of talk about some of the same things but in a different context. And yeah, so you'll probably be nervous. Oh, one warning. Last thing, you probably are going to want to review some of my gold testing videos. Ideally, you want to mostly buy gold that has marks, and if you're buying gold that doesn't have marks, you need to know how to test it, either with nitric acid or with density testing, and you're going to need a gram scale. And you should probably go download my gold price calculator that will help you price things faster. So I'll link to a bunch of those things. Anyway, if you click on one of those other videos, it'll obviously help my channel, and it'll help me build my secret lab. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helps you get your first gold clients, and yeah, good luck. Bye.